A small request before starting the video. If you love the channel's topic, then subscribe to the channel now and press the bell icon next to it. Because one of your subscriptions encourages me to make better videos. YNR's Michelle Stafford reveals Phyllis's soul as she causes trouble for the Newmans. Image credit, Paramount Media. On The Young and the Restless, Phyllis and Cane have worked together to take over Newman Enterprises. Victor Newman has already lost the first division. Cane's involvement with Phyllis has been a head-scratcher for YNR fans since he's still in love with Lily. In the meantime, her on-screen portrayer, Michelle Stafford, pulled back the veil and looked into Phyllis's soul. Cane holds the power of Victor's AI program. Instead of confronting Victor, Braeden, Cane, Billy Flynn, outwitted him behind the scenes. He took the stolen AI program to flip the script and reclaim his power. Cane unleashed the AI software that Victor had previously stolen and dismantled, as Newman Enterprises crumbled in real time. In a single false move, Victor lost control. He had no idea what was coming. Newman just faced its first hit. The AI tore through every part of the systems. The assets were already pushed offline, which means it was too late to save them. One of Newman's divisions was already wiped out before Victor and Adam, Mark Grossman, could stop it. Meanwhile, Cane and Phyllis were celebrating their victory in the bedroom. Their collaboration has become a head-scratcher for fans of both characters. More, Michelle Stafford offers a fresh perspective on life as a single mom on Soapy. YNR fans question Cane and Phyllis. Cane proved that he had the power all along. He could have turned the AI program on Newman at any given time, but he chose to do it now. He took the opportunity when the chips fell, and while Victor was distracted. Victor learned that Jack, Peter Bergman, and Kyle, Michael Mealer, had Matt Clark, Roger Howarth. Jack tried to make a deal with Victor, but he refused. Then, he found out that Newman Enterprises had been stolen from underneath him. YNR viewers have questioned Cane's involvement with Phyllis. What does he want with her? He figures that he's already lost everything. Lily, Crystal Khalil, and his kids won't forgive him, and now they want nothing to do with him. So, why not transform himself into the power-hungry monster they already think he is? Instead of proving them wrong, he decided to stoop to that level. Cane figures he has nothing else to lose at this point. So, he might as well live up to his Aristotle Dumas identity. Stafford pulls back the veil. Stafford, who called out the blur between actress and character, pulled back the veil on Phyllis on Instagram. She shared a quote from her Soapy podcast with co-hosts Rebecca Budig and Greg Ricart. Phyllis is jacked up. All the time. And the way that she's written, especially now, and I really like it, so don't get me wrong, but she's fighting for her life in every scene, and she's hanging from the cliff, Stafford explained. That's like where she is emotionally on a soul level. Phyllis wants to reclaim her place in Genoa City. She was tired of being seen as the outcast. And she's doing it by taking over other people's companies and teaming up with the town's biggest enemy. She doesn't care whose trust she could lose because of it. YNR viewers have mixed reactions. Most praised Stafford's acting, as she pours her soul into each storyline. But they admitted they don't like this version of Phyllis and her involvement with Cane. What are your thoughts? YNR's Michelle Stafford reveals Phyllis's soul as she causes trouble for the Newmans. Few characters on The Young and the Restless ignite conversation quite like Phyllis Summers, and few actresses understand the heartbeat of their alter ego the way Michelle Stafford does. As Phyllis once again finds herself at the center of Genoa City chaos, Stafford is peeling back the layers of what truly drives this iconic redhead and why her latest collision course with the Newman family feels both inevitable and deeply personal. This is not chaos for chaos' sake. According to Stafford, this is Phyllis being exactly who she has always been at her core, a woman fueled by fierce loyalty, wounded pride, survival instinct, and a desperate need to be seen and respected in a world dominated by power players who never stop underestimating her. Phyllis has never been a background character. She doesn't hover politely at the edges of Newman Enterprises or quietly accept being outmaneuvered by Victor Newman's iron grip on Genoa City. When Phyllis walks into a room, she brings history, grudges, ambition, and emotional scars with her. Stafford has long said that Phyllis operates from her heart first and her head second, a dangerous combination that makes her unpredictable and endlessly compelling. As Phyllis stirs trouble for the Newmans yet again, Stafford suggests that fans should stop asking why she does it and start asking what she's fighting for. At the soul of Phyllis Summers is a woman who has spent her life clawing her way into rooms where she was never invited. Unlike the Newmans, Phyllis didn't inherit power. She earned it through intelligence, manipulation, reinvention, and sheer will. Every time she tangles with Victor, Nikki, or the next generation of Newmans, it reopens that old wound of being treated as expendable or disposable. Stafford has described Phyllis as someone who never forgets how it felt to be dismissed, and that memory becomes fuel when she senses even the slightest whiff of disrespect. The current wave of Newman drama taps directly into that emotional engine. Phyllis doesn't just see a powerful family protecting its interests. She sees a system that always closes ranks against outsiders. To her, the Newmans represent privilege that shields them from consequences while people like her are expected to play by rules that were never designed to protect them. That belief, whether accurate or not, drives Phyllis to push buttons, expose secrets, and force confrontations that others would avoid. Stafford has hinted that Phyllis believes the truth has value only if someone is brave enough or reckless enough to unleash it. Michelle Stafford's portrayal makes it clear that Phyllis isn't motivated by pure malice. She's motivated by emotion. When she feels betrayed, dismissed, or sidelined, her reaction is volcanic. That's why her clashes with Nikki Newman carry such intensity. Nikki represents grace, legacy, and acceptance within Genoa City's elite, everything Phyllis has had to fight tooth and nail to approximate. Their rivalry isn't just about business or personal slights. It's about identity. Stafford has noted that Phyllis often measures herself against women like Nikki, not because she wants their life, but because she wants acknowledgement that she belongs in the same arena. As Phyllis begins causing ripples within the Newman orbit, fans are seeing a familiar pattern with new emotional stakes. She gathers information, tests loyalties, and positions herself as both threat and wild card. What's different now is the vulnerability beneath the bravado. Stafford has been open about playing Phyllis as a woman who is tired of being underestimated but terrified of being irrelevant. In a town where power shifts quickly and alliances change overnight, Phyllis refuses to fade quietly into the background. Her interactions with Victor Newman are particularly telling. Victor has always recognized Phyllis as dangerous, even when he publicly dismisses her. That mutual awareness creates a charged dynamic where every conversation feels like a chess match. Phyllis doesn't just want to beat Victor. She wants him to admit that she's a worthy opponent. Stafford has often said that Phyllis respects strength, even when she's fighting it, and Victor's strength forces her to rise or risk being crushed. This latest chapter of Newman Trouble also highlights Phyllis's complicated relationship with control. When she feels out of control emotionally, she seeks control strategically. That's when secrets come out, alliances are tested, and chaos follows. Stafford leans into that duality, portraying Phyllis as someone who can be warm, funny, and deeply loving one moment, then ruthless and cutting the next. It's not inconsistency. It's survival. Phyllis learned long ago that vulnerability without power is dangerous. Fans have noticed that as Phyllis pokes at the Newmans, she's also revealing pieces of herself that are rarely spoken aloud. Her fear of being alone. Her need to matter. Her refusal to be erased by legacy families who believe Genoa City belongs to them by birthright. Stafford has said that Phyllis doesn't wake up intending to be the villain. She wakes up intending to protect herself, and if that means becoming the villain in someone else's story, she accepts the role. The Newman family, for their part, often underestimates the emotional intelligence Phyllis brings to the battlefield. They see her as impulsive, volatile, and reckless. What they miss is how deeply she reads people. Phyllis notices the cracks in their polished exterior. She senses insecurity, guilt, and fear, and she knows exactly where to press. Stafford plays those moments with surgical precision, reminding viewers that Phyllis's greatest weapon isn't just information, it's insight. As this storyline unfolds, it becomes clear that Phyllis isn't simply causing trouble. She's forcing the Newmans to confront uncomfortable truths about themselves. Their moral flexibility. Their tendency to protect their own at any cost. Their willingness to rewrite history when it suits them. Phyllis acts as a mirror, and people rarely like what they see reflected back at them. Stafford has hinted that this is where Phyllis feels most alive, when she's exposing hypocrisy and refusing to be silenced. There's also an undercurrent of heartbreak in Phyllis's actions that Stafford subtly weaves into every scene. Phyllis wants connection as much as she wants power. When she lashes out, it's often because she feels shut out. Her history is littered with moments where she trusted the wrong person or believed she had finally earned a seat at the table, only to have it pulled away. Each Newman conflict reactivates that pain, turning it into determination rather than despair. What makes Michelle Stafford's insights so compelling is her refusal to sanitize Phyllis. She embraces the messiness. Phyllis is not a hero in the traditional sense, and she's not a one-dimensional villain either. She is a woman shaped by trauma, ambition, love, jealousy, and resilience. Stafford has said that Phyllis survives because she adapts, and adaptation sometimes looks like manipulation, confrontation, and stirring trouble where others fear to tread. As Phyllis continues to rattle the Newman cage, the fallout promises to be explosive. Alliances will be tested. Old grudges will resurface. New wounds will be inflicted. Yet at the center of it all is a woman who refuses to disappear quietly. Phyllis Summers doesn't exist to make people comfortable. She exists to make them pay attention. Michelle Stafford's understanding of Phyllis's soul elevates every conflict, especially those involving Genoa City's most powerful family. This isn't just another feud. It's a collision of identity, power, and unresolved history. Phyllis isn't fighting the Newmans because she hates them. She's fighting them because they represent everything she has battled her entire life, and backing down has never been in her nature. For fans, this storyline is a reminder of why Phyllis remains one of the young and the restless most enduring and electrifying characters. Love her or loathe her, she provokes reaction, conversation, and emotional investment. As Stafford continues to bring honesty and fire to the role, Phyllis's troublemaking feels less like chaos and more like a declaration. She is still here. She still matters. And she will never stop challenging the power.